dudes are having sex with other dudes, bro. The internet might come for you.
Yeah, you say sweet love, sweet love.
Yeah, you gotta say make sweet love.
That's young buck breaking right there.
Make sweet love.
There's rules to rap beef now, bro.
Now people
Not in your day.
Well, I'm saying like, God, man, why is your homeboy so close to you when you come out of there? Look like you guys just made sweet love. I'm gonna say sweet love instead of anything that says.
To me, that's better because they're gonna try to make it something else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was smart. Like I didn't think about that. I say things that are borderline. Like I'm like, oh my God, you're in trouble.
You?
Like all the time. Because I just say.
Nah, but you got close when he offered to take you shopping.
Yeah, you see, now Meek is in the same shirt. He's out there in the same shirt. This is not Photoshop.
Shit.
This is really happening. I'm just saying to you. No, stop it. Look, you set that up. Look, you set that up. He's in the same shirt.
What do you mean he's in the same shirt?
Obviously was not offended by what I was offended by. This is what I'm saying, bro. You go, I'm like, nah, it was odd. Like, this is some of the things that people say. Like, guys may say to a girl, let me take a shot. See?
Damn.
They found it that quick.
What do you think is happening in the middle?
I don't know what is going on.
Wow, they found Kendrick and Wifey.
You can't dress up Kendrick like that. Oh, you can't dress him up like that.
No, it's jokes.
That's like the White Chicks movie, bro. You can't do that.
Yeah, that was comedy. That was good.
Yeah, but that
get away with Wifey.
That's obviously doing shopping. They got the same outfit.
Yeah, it's true. In public. Yeah, that's a nice shirt. That's a nice shirt. All right, so when he said the shopping line in real life, what did you say?
I said, let me get away from him. Because he was like, yo, you hot now. Now we gotta hang out now. Like hang out.
Yeah.
He said, I don't know, maybe I take you shopping and I get you some flash and you could give me the hood shit. And I was looking and I was like, let me just move away from him because I'm gonna mess up the wedding. I always say to myself,
it was someone's wedding?
It was Chris Lighty's wedding. It was in Miami. Nori's there. Nori knows this because I looked at him like, yo. You heard what he just said, right? He's like, yo, certain things they let it go by because it's Puff. Like they would look, like he would say stuff, and it's like he wasn't like in the closet, he was like in the hallway. Now you see so much shit that you go, wait. No, this was visible.
He was in the hallway. We saw the video.
You saw that video. It comes out later. You're like, that's not the closet. That's the hallway. He didn't give a fuck. Like you could tell that he was already.
Nah, New York is dope. Because when Fab, he was like, yo, Fab, we ain't.
It all begins with the haunting and mysterious end of Aaron Carter, a pop star who in his prime captured hearts across the world. His untimely death in his own home shocked fans and raised more questions than answers. Found lifeless in his bathroom, the official report ruled his death an accidental drowning caused by inhaling compressed gas. Yet the whispers of doubt began almost immediately. Was this truly an accident, or was it a chilling message to those who dared to speak out against the powerful?
I was like, no, we partied it up.
He's like, no, but he did party. Yeah. And I'm like, yo, they let that one go? Like, I had to say something about it later because I was like, oh, it was.
What did it feel like all these years? You being the only one calling this out?
I look like I've been the crazy guy for a long time.
They said you're a hater. They said you're crazy.
You do this, and now everybody's complaining. My ass is hurting. There's all this shit that's coming.
50, you can't make jokes about it.
No.
The internet might come for you, bro.
All I'm saying is,
it might come from you.
You see it now. All of these complaints. People were damned. They were and pillaged. This was what was going on, right? And what do I get for I went through years of a hater. You're a hater. You want this and that. I'm just watching. Like I look at things and go, when you see the new lawsuit coming with Jay, the part with Jay, I go, oh shoot, like. Then I think about it, I go, that had to be there. So when I was saying that he was missing. He just wasn't actively being out there because they was dealing with that.
Wait, do you think there's truth to the Jay thing? There's no way.
Know. Like that, look, so like if you say, I have this thing where I'm conflicted when it takes you 20 years to remember something happened to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I go, so 10 years, 20 years later, it comes back. And it's like all of Puff's problems are coming from the ministers touching little boys.
What you mean?
The laws are the way they are because
Because of Catholics.
Because of the priests.
The priest touching little boys.
Oh. Why are we looking at me, bro? I just go to church. I just go to church, right? I have nothing to do with this. I have an alibi.
That's why the Lord's allowing you to go that far back.
Turn away from you right there. I'm just a Catholic kid. Go ahead. You've been dead. No. What's the body of Christ taste like? It's sacrilegious. You can't do that.
He's like, yo, drink my blood.
So it is crazy when after 20 years they come out. That shit is foul.
But with Puffy, you were the only one saying anything for decades.
Yeah, because we had our own little thing.
But you were the only. Everybody else is scared.
Huh?
But everybody else is scared. So you think maybe this is a similar thing where everybody else is scared? I don't know what it is. I'm just asking.
I think that they're scared.
But if they're scared, then maybe that's what I'm thinking.
Insinuating Jay-Z a little bit.
Yeah.
Like you've been saying people gonna come for him a little bit.
No, I thought he would do funky stuff like the Super Bowl. Like it was not okay for me to be at the Super Bowl.
Oh, he tried to cut that.
Yeah, he didn't want me to. Well, they worked to make like there was an issue with me in the NFL that doesn't exist.
And so he did the corporate way of trying to keep you down. Oh, it's not me. It's now.
It's them. And then when M says he's not gonna do it if I'm not there, then
let's go.
Like,
yeah.
You know.
That's what I'm
what's
talking
your
about,
and Jay's issue?
It's just competitive stuff.
It's really
music.
just competitive.
This is what I'm saying. When it gets past actual art, like actual music, and you're trying to block something that's in business, then it feels weird. It feels like we should be having beef.
Oh,
okay.
So that's the behind the scenes thing that we don't see. It's one thing when there's like people talking about each other in music, but there's behind the scenes business deals that
Aaron Carter, before his tragic demise, seemed to sense something was amiss in his final months. His social media posts and public appearances showed a man on edge. He openly expressed fears for his essay and described his home as a place of unease in one particularly eerie video. He spoke of feeling threatened, pleading with the world to hear his cries. These were not the words of someone carefree. They were the cries of someone who feared an invisible predator.
And it's because it does feel like when you're in negotiations, it'll feel like your value went down. Like not as hot as you was last week when everybody was excited. And saying it feels different. Like, like they saying you lost. Like you get a phone call, even you're like, yo, you guys created the largest sales week in hip hop. And I'm like, yeah, but I lost.
Right.
Get off my phone.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I get this call from Steve Berman. They run Interscope now, but they like at that point.
And this is when you and Kanye were going?
Yeah.
You
got to get the call. You go, what did you... Man, get the fuck off my phone.
Because when you look at it with the sales with you and Kanye, like y'all went on this whole who's going to sell, and that first week, Kanye did sell more. But looking at the numbers, y'all won.
Yeah.
No, but you were like, nah.
Big, look. From a consistent sales history, I have the sales history. Interscope didn't do everything Def Jam done for Kanye's number to come back like that. They assumed because they didn't do everything to protect Drake. Because they assume Kendrick and this will be just like anything else that happens. Do you understand? Like they did everything he's saying they did in that lawsuit, they did it.
So you feel like it's valid on that point? Like, yeah, they did that.
I understand why you would do that if you was talking to a lawyer, but like in hip hop,
right?
There's nothing to sue for. There's nothing that I didn't sue for that.
Is anything off boundaries when it comes to beef?
No,
nothing's out of bounds.
Nah.
What about going to their home city and putting on a full concert? Like Kendrick's going to Toronto for 2 nights,
and it's probably going to be lit.
Right.
The shows are gonna probably be fucking lit. Like, what do you think is gonna happen there? Like, the energy is. You got people that like both of them. They're not gonna They're not gonna switch and just say I don't like both. These are the top artists in our culture right now. Like the new. It's prime time, big. This is the new.
Have you ever felt a certain way when you would beef with somebody? Like, damn, this is a lot, or.
You know what? If
did you really buy Ja Rule's tickets, like seats at his concert?
You did. Cheap tickets. The tickets were very affordable.
Right.
On the day of his death, neighbors, including a registered nurse, reportedly rushed to his aid, but shockingly they were blocked by his house sitter, who acted in ways that raised suspicion. Locking doors and preventing anyone from entering. This erratic behavior has only added fuel to theories of foul play.
Yeah, I bought the first 4 rolls.
How many did you buy? If you say you bought the first 4 rolls, is that a couple hundred?
Yeah, it was cheap though. It was cheap tickets, so it was something to do. Like if you don't look at me like that, baby.
All right, man.
We know for years. It's just I looked at it. I said, "Yo, this is the." I just want you to feel like you gotta reach the people. They're like 4 or 5 rows back.
What is this? What? That 2 decades later, it's still this.
No, I mean it's not that big of a sacrifice for me. Now I've bought things that mean less to me.
Right.
Oh my gosh,
that was fun. That was like watching it. Let me see the show and see the spaces are empty because they are reserved for someone else. They're not supposed to be sitting.
That's brutal. That's so brutal,
man. Hey man, Fat Joe in the World Series. We just recently had Fat Joe in.
Yeah.
And Fat Joe came in, man. And first off, he said, "Man, I'm wearing my ass kisser outfit." He came in like a purple hoodie,
some Laker gear,
and with some. But and Joe's my guy. And at one point, you and Joe wasn't seeing eye to eye.
Yeah. And
he explained that too about Chris Lighty, and you know what I'm saying. Like you just see things that in due time, grown men came together, and y'all really like even Buster.
Yeah.
Like and Bust went out with Final Lap.
Yeah.
But it was at one time where you and Fat Joe like y'all weren't cool.
And look, Joe's the kind of guy that you want to be friends with. He's loyal to a default.
Right.
Right. And at points, like if that person's not, if you don't have the connection with them, you're going to just not like it because you're going to be like, what's wrong with them?
Right.
Like you don't have an issue, but it seems like you're uncomfortable.
Yeah. Association.
If a person's uncomfortable with your success, then they shouldn't mean anything to you.
No.
Right. And at that point, that's what I was getting off him and that vibe, big. So I'm just like, nah. Like, and I didn't I didn't invite these situations, but I didn't
run away.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I would look and go, oh, so you want a problem? Is that what you want?
Hey man,
I was already in mode for that. Like the vehicles is bulletproof and bomb-proof and everything, and I'm like, what? I'm already geared up for the whole thing. So it's like I'm like, oh, you thought you was like different.
How can that happen with Buster, Fat Joe? Is the Ja Rule, is it deeper?
No, it's the same thing that you see Drake experience. So how did he just have? Look, this is the op page,
right?
He was just winning consistently more than.
And then there's the cryptic connection to Hollywood's elite. Just before his death, Aaron sent a tweet to Kanye West asking for a private conversation. The timing of this message is chilling. What did Aaron know, and why did he feel the need to reach out to one of the most controversial figures in the entertainment industry?
That breaking news before the break. We are just learning that a judge has denied another one of rapper Sean Diddy Combs' requests to be released on bail. I remember he's behind bars at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, waiting for his trial to get started next. Showing this for us. We were waiting for this decision. We got it in now. What do we know?
All right. Well, it's 5 pages. And the takeaway here is that the judge is saying that no condition or combination of conditions will reasonably assure the safety of the community. And that was what New York prosecutors were saying. I was in court twice last week, and I listened to these prosecutors say that he was a danger to the community. And they showed that video, that surveillance video of him from 2016, brutally beating his then girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, saying that he has a propensity to violence, and that alone is a reason why we cannot agree to the proposed bail package. Now, his team had offered $50 million, a home of his in Miami as collateral, and they said that he would live in an apartment on Manhattan's Upper East Side, monitored by 24-hour security, that he would only talk to his attorneys, that he would only have, certain family members on a pre-approved list, and that, he would actually be under stricter conditions than he is at the jail in Brooklyn. But clearly, this is the third time.
Yeah.
This judge not buying it.
What was Diddy like in court? You were there twice last week. What was his demeanor like?
I mean, he was smiling on Friday, turned around and looked at his children. All of his children were there except for his infant child. His mother was there. He looked a little thinner. He looked a little worse for wear. But he has seemed upbeat and positive. And a few days earlier on Wednesday, so a week ago today, his legal team had a win. because his team was able to say that New York prosecutors wrongly obtained 16 pages of notes from his jail cell during a routine sweep, that it had his defense strategy, it had witnesses that they planned to call at the criminal trial in May, and the judge agreed that those should have been protected under attorney-client privilege. So there was a feeling today among reporter friends of mine and people in the building here that, maybe there's a chance that the judge, given he's taking several days to think about this, he asked for both sides to write a letter, that he might release him. But this is the third time. His team, we're waiting for a response from them, from his legal team. They could appeal again. But we were talking to Danny Savalos earlier, and he said, they would have to propose something new and different to potentially be successful for a fourth attempt.
Enter Shah Diddy Combs, a man who has become the focus of a storm of allegations. Diddy is no stranger to controversy, but the claims against him have reached an unprecedented level of darkness. Federal investigators are now reportedly delving into his potential ties to Aaron Carter's death, as well as other high-profile cases, including the mysterious passing of his ex-girlfriend, Kim Porter.
Breaking news, a federal detention hearing for Sean Diddy Combs has just ended, and CNN's Kara Scannell is outside the courthouse in New York. Kara, obviously, this is a huge case. What just happened?
Yeah, Jake. So the magistrate judge overseeing this hearing today has remanded saying that he has taken voluntary steps, including turning over his passport to his lawyers, saying he would report any of his movements to prosecutors. But the judge finding that that was just not enough. She said, my concern is that this is a crime that happened behind closed doors, even when pretrial services is monitoring. So she said there was nothing that his lawyers had offered that made her feel comfortable that he would return to this courthouse for subsequent court hearings and for a trial. She said that it was both his when he was using drugs and alcohol, that was a reason why she couldn't trust that he would not commit any additional crimes while he was left on bail. So Sean Diddy Combs is not going to be walking out this door. He is in federal custody, where he will be unless his lawyers are able to convince a different judge to release him.
Let's bring in criminal defense attorney Stacey Schneider. And Stacey, you say today's indictment reads like a mob indictment. What was most shocking to you of all these allegations?
Yeah, the fact, Jake, that the government in this indictment presented evidence alleging that Sean Combs was running a criminal enterprise, and they actually named it in the indictment, the Combs Enterprise. And they said that this enterprise consisted of him as the alleged leader, his employees, assistants, staff, allegedly, that were able to any type of alleged the reasoning around all of this, his alleged motivation as presented in that indictment by the government is for his own personal gratification. And that's just the strangest type of indictment I've ever seen. But I agree with you. This indictment...
Photos of a young Aaron Carter alongside Diddy have resurfaced, sparking disturbing questions. Was Aaron just another pawn in a larger, more sinister game? Rumors suggest that Diddy and his associates may have victimized Carter as a child, exploiting him at industry parties while introducing him to harmful substances. These allegations paint a grim picture of an industry that preys on the young and vulnerable.
It's very disturbing. The facts presented are out of a very bad Hollywood story. And a lot of the evidence, alleged evidence, that's been gathered in this case was from those 2 raids that were conducted on his personal homes in Miami and Los Angeles. And the indictment names the things seized that he allegedly made videos of these sexual performances that have been named freak-offs. And there seems to be a ton of evidence allegedly tying this scheme together. So it's an interesting way of prosecuting it, but I understand why they did it that way.
So what did you make of what Elizabeth Wagmeister just reported? And obviously, Sean Diddy Combs and his attorneys they're going to get their day in court. But the idea that the government, in their characterization, does not say that anybody did any of these things non-consensually. What do you make of that?
I make of that as being a big flaw already in the government's case, which the defense was quick to point out. Even if he was engaging in this alleged conduct, there was no allegation or no statement in that indictment saying that any of these alleged victims or alleged witnesses willingly participated in some of these acts that people find offensive, that sound to be offensive. And that's a very important part of the case. What was the consent? But there are enough charges here where outside of what the alleged victims are going to say about how he was using the resources allegedly from his enterprises, his businesses, his well-known Bad Boy Entertainment, his clothing line resources, his liquor line resources. Allegedly, there were funds used from that resources to engage in this alleged prostitution activity across state lines, and that's why it's a federal case, because it's across straight lines. So there are some problems that the defense has brought up originally, but it seems like, just from reading this 14-page indictment, that there is enough physical evidence to perhaps get a conviction in this case. We shall see. These are allegations.
So the Office of the Southern District of New York seems awfully confident about their ability to handle the scope and complexity of the case. But still, why do you think it took them so long for them to go after Combs, considering they allege his crimes have been going on for more than a decade?
My theory is that the government had an easy time putting together this final prosecution because of all the civil actions existing against Sean Combs right now. The case with Cassie, which that video was shown, his former girlfriend, where he was seen assaulting her. It looked like certainly that he was assaulting her on video. I think the government and investigators were able to accumulate all this easy evidence that was just handed to them from the attorneys who prepared the civil cases that are now pending against him. I think things just started piling up, and eventually Sean Combs got to a place where his luck ran out, and therefore he was indicted and arraigned.
Stacey Schneider, thanks so much.
And the pattern doesn't stop there. Diddy's influence has been tied to a string of troubling events. Kanye West has publicly accused him of being a puppet for powerful individuals, threatening and silencing those who dare to defy the status quo. West claims align with a broader narrative of manipulation and exploitation within Hollywood, one that seems to trace back to figures like Diddy. Resources. Thanks for watching my video. Subscribe my YouTube channel and get more videos about us famous celebrities. Subscribe for more related content.